Alright, skipping the intro, going straight right into it, we are going to be talking about the 2025 NFL quarterback draft class. I am random. Please do not take my word professionally. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm just a regular somebody who watches football like it's a religion. But, you know, I do want to give my personal opinion on some of these prospects because this class is just depressingly mid. Like, if I have to actually be honest, which if you probably have watched videos on people explaining it, this class is not going to be memorable at all. This is just one of those years where, you know, there's a lot of more defensive players. There's a lot of more wide receivers. You know, it's like there's other star talent, just not in the quarterback department. So if you are a team in need of a quarterback, I am sorry for you because you are not going to find your guy here. You sure as hell are not going to find it here. And matter of fact, if you don't even select a quarterback in the first round, which is probably where you have the best chance, but even then there's not a lot of guys worthy being taken at the first round besides 2 picks. So anyways, yeah, I'm just gonna go over the prospects. Again, do not take me serious. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just gonna give my opinion on what I think of them and, you know, just talk about it. So yeah, let's get right into the video. Shedeur Sanders, easily the best quarterback in this draft class. He is one of the 2 picks I've already mentioned who just seem the most NFL ready for the moment. And I'm not saying he's gonna be an immediate success, but just the gap in talent. Like, there's a drop-off between Sanders, like, comparing to him, someone like Ewers is just a large difference. It is night and day. It is just large. Sanders, when you watch him play Colorado, he just strikes me with confidence. He is someone who was born for this moment. Sanders is just built damn different. You see the stuff he does. He plays with so much aggression. He just makes plays that no other quarterback would make or even take an attempt on trying. He has 26 touchdowns on a 6 interception ratio with 2,888 passing yards, averaging a 72.9% completion rate. He shows me the most accurate out of all these quarterbacks based on all the games and just the stats on the stock board. Personally, depending on the team he go to, though, in my opinion, will be the deciding factor on him. I believe he could be the guy, but he needs a system who is focused around him and ready to go. Not someone like Carolina, which, no offense if you are a Panthers fan, but you are in a large rebuild. You are a team that's not going to be great for the next 3 or 4 years. You are not a team who deserves Sanders. Sanders, if he's on a team like that, he will not pop off. He needs somewhere like Cleveland or the Giants, which is a perfect fit in my opinion. Somewhere with weapons for Sanders to play with, as he's not too experienced without Travis Hunter, who, by the way, is elite himself. Travis Hunter is a top 3 pick. So it's like, you know, to see Sanders without Hunter is going to be something else. So, you know, my only concern is just I don't know how he's going to perform without his star wide receivers around him. But overall, Sanders is the best option in my opinion. But he will be gone within the first 3, so only a few select teams will have a chance at him. Cam Ward. Cam Ward to me is a pretty much a solid pick. You know what you're getting with him. You're getting a great quarterback. You know, the second pick to Sanders in my opinion. The 1A to 1B. It's like, you know, with Ward, you can't go wrong. You are getting a great quarterback. You are getting someone who is going to come into a system and he is going to perform. He is going to ball out. He is a damn highlight reel if you watch him in Miami. The man is, like, he's unstoppable. If he can get going, he is hard to stop. But there are a few problems I do have with him because while his highlights are something to watch, if you do pay attention to the full game, you would see he has his struggles. He can remain inconsistent with a completion rate of only 63%. He has games where he will go 25 for 41. But there's also another issue with him. He just loves to hold the ball for a good amount of time. If you do watch there, he'll just sit in the pocket for like 4 seconds before finally deciding if he wants to scramble or throw. That's not a great thing, but I think he's commented on it himself, saying he knows it's a large issue with him and he has to work on it. If he does not fix it, in the NFL, that's going to result in either a sack or a very unconcentrated throw on the run because, you know, you're not going to have that time in the NFL when you have actually elite rushers coming after your ass. I don't think you're going to have that same amount of time he has over here in college playing, you know, competition like he's been playing because he doesn't play the best competition. Out of all the games I have seen, though, his cleanest was against Florida A&M. But everything I just said, though, does not matter. It does not matter what his struggles are, or it doesn't matter that. You just know with Cam Ward, you are getting a solid quarterback. You're getting someone with a rocket launcher of an arm. He can run through defenses like a truck. So really, Ward is honestly one of the more safer options besides Sanders here. In the right system, Ward can be a large problem. He should be what Anthony Richardson was hyped up to be. He's going to be that basically. You know, he's going to go within top 5. So if it's in a deep rebuild, you know, somewhere like, I don't know, I guess Carolina, again, you know, I keep using him as an example. He's not going to be a hit right immediately. I mean, overall, I say he's got a higher ceiling than Sanders, given his, you know, arm and playmaking decisions, but it just has to be the right team. Because like most scrambling quarterbacks like him, his talent can be crushed if he just goes to the wrong system. Quinn Ewers, and this is where we officially take the drop off from the actual solid guaranteed, you know, starters, the guys who will be starters, and then you got the projects to where the bench players usually come out. This is where we lead it off with Quinn Ewers. Quinn Ewers leads pretty much the projects. And Quinn Ewers is a giant project himself because, yes, he is better overall still than everyone else on the list. It's just he is surrounded by a Texas system. So, I mean, it is one of the better systems to play, and you cannot tell me I am wrong. I'm not saying he is not talented, but it's hard to see what you're really capable of when your O-line is number 4 ranked in the country. And I could say this for really any school, like the Georgia quarterbacks or the Alabama quarterbacks. I could say this for anyone. Like, you know, he is not the main... He's not the reason why Texas is, you know, doing how they are. I mean, yes, he is because he's the quarterback, but Arch Manning was giving out nearly the same performance, if not doing any better, so I can't say Quinn Ewers is the main reason why they're winning. I mean, he's 6'2". I mean, he's not the shortest guy, but he's not the tallest. He has an average build. He's not cut. He's not ripped. He lacks an arm strength, which is actually, his arm strength is pretty solid. I will give him that. He can make a short to medium range throw with good accuracy. But if I needed a 60 to a 65 yard throw down the middle, I would really be hesitant on pulling the trigger on him. He seems to fold a lot under the pressure when the moment gets large, like seen in the Georgia game, where he did struggle the first 2 quarters, which, yes, he did bring the lead back almost nearly, but it doesn't help. Carson Beck is a complete tool, which I will get on Beck in a minute. But Carson Beck could not score if his life depended on it. But against any other team, that lead would have only got larger. My complaint, footwork, and just a lack of control overall in his body, which can affect the accuracy on his throws. He doesn't really make the perfect reads. Like some throws, he will just throw it straight into coverage and bam, interception. He likes to make a lot of mistakes, but he also has a lot of room just for improvement. I will label him a project more than I would a prospect. But if any team does make a call on him, I just recommend having patience on him and sit him behind a veteran. Just sit him behind the right person. He could turn out great. He just needs a lot of work. I say early round 2 pick at best, but as far as a starter, I don't see him in those lights just yet. Like I said, sit him behind a veteran, somewhere like the Rams. Sit him behind a Matthew Stafford, or sit him on the Buccaneers behind Baker Mayfield, and in 2 to 4 years, Ewers will be a solid quarterback. He'll be a solid starter, and even then could be a franchise guy. You just got to do Ewers right, and you just have to be patient with him. Then we have Carson Beck, absolutely the worst quarterback in this entire class. I don't give a damn what anyone says. Oh, but he shows, he can make reads. No, the fuck he can't. How he went from the so-called NFL-ready #1 overall pick at the beginning of the season, Heisman favorite, now he's putting Georgia out of the playoffs. It's absolutely wild. Look, he struggles in damn near everything from what I have seen when he plays against actual ranked defenses and not garbage teams. By that, I mean he can never beat a good team by more than a touchdown. If he wasn't at Georgia, I don't think he would be a starter or this high in the talks at all. Look, it's all just hype. He's just tall is all I can say. He's not athletic. He makes poor decisions. He can't fucking run, and he just doesn't do anything right. And I know some people are going to say, well, yeah, he is talented. Look, if you watched him in 2023, yes, I will admit, Beck looked great. What he's doing this year is beyond horrible. Like, I don't know how he just went downhill so fast. He is the reason Georgia is playing like garbage. Give it any other quarterback, Georgia would still be the #1 school. I mean, if a team wants to take the chance on him and hope that he could look like how he did in 23, then be my guest. But to me, he's a day 3 pick, if anything, undrafted as well. I don't see any high hopes for him at all. I just don't. All I see is a backup position on the team. Because if Stetson Bennett went low for winning 2 national championships back-to-back, then Beck should go a lot lower for being a loser. I would say skip out on Carson Beck. There's a lot of other quarterbacks you can get. I mean, Carson Beck is just nothing special. Drew Allar, to me, plain average. I mean, he's just average. And I'm not saying this to be a hater, you know. Like, I'm not a hater or a liker of Penn State. I don't care for their team personally. But just based off what I've seen, there's nothing special to him. There really is. And I apologize to any Penn State fans who believe very high on Drew Allar. He doesn't show me he's anything special. He's just there in the moment. I mean, yes, he is one of the taller quarterbacks. He is 6'5". He's taller than most quarterbacks coming into the draft. I mean, that's the perfect frame for most successful quarterbacks in the NFL. But, you know, maybe it's the playbook at Penn State, but he just does not showcase his talents enough. From what I can see, he's not very agile. I mean, he's kind of fast, but it doesn't feel like he's the most important player there at Penn State. You know, the focus is not around him. And when it is, he's either underthrowing or overthrowing because the moment is too damn big. He struggles to make completions if it's not a short route. As seen in the Buckeyes game where, again, when the pressure gets too much. Some games he will ball the hell out and then in the next will struggle to get 140 passing yards. He's got the talent though, I won't lie. He's got the tools. So I wouldn't pass on him if you're in dire need of a quarterback somewhere like, I don't know, Vegas. But he could be your savior easily if you do him right. But he comes with a big warning sticker. And that's just, he's another project with just a large upside but a 90% being a giant miss. And then you have Kyle McCord, which some people are really going to disagree with this one. To me, he is a sneaky link in this draft. I bring him up because no one else is really going to, but I think he has a high upside to him as somewhat of a Buckeyes fan. I mean, I had to watch him last year, and everyone wants to just highlight the games where he got picked apart or sold it, but besides a few plays, he wasn't that bad. Like, he really was not. I mean, especially the game this year where he played Pitt and he had 5 interceptions. Besides all of those, you look aside that, he makes solid reads, and he packs pretty much every tool you would want in a quarterback. He is not afraid to try to run. I mean, yes, he gets his ass shut down pretty quick, but he's not afraid to run. He makes good throws. He's got good arm strength. I mean, he's 6'4", 225 pounds, and he can make some outstanding plays. And some people will say, well, he left Ohio State. Why would he do that? I mean, I get it. Maybe he couldn't handle it, but I think he helped himself a lot by going somewhere smaller like Syracuse, where the attention is off him. He could just play ball. And I'm not saying he is NFL ready. He's definitely probably about equal to Ewers, if not maybe a lot lower. But he makes the same amount of mistakes as almost every other quarterback in this list. But in the right system or sitting behind the right quarterback, he could learn and just be a star project. Alright, and now we have Jackson Dart. Let me get that out the way before I keep talking about Jackson Dart. I want to mention Garrett Nussmeier here for a second. Nussmeier, to me, I think he is actually going to stay another year at LSU. That's why I'm not going to even bother mentioning him. I might be wrong, and if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong, I guess. I just didn't talk about him. But I think he's going to stay another year. I think even he knows that. You know, it's like he's a great quarterback. He will be a great quarterback. I just think one more year under his belt at college will do him a lot better, because if he comes out right now, he is not going to go high. Now, back on Jackson Dart for a moment. One of the best projects here, and he has a very, very high reward for a low risk. If he goes like the projections say to round 3, he has one of the best upsides you could just want in a round 3. He has a very nice drop back to follow up with a rocket arm. If you do watch Ole Miss, then you do know he throws dimes on the regular. I mean, he's not afraid to showcase his arm strength, which is actually one of the more elite parts of him. He's one of the more fun quarterbacks to watch. I mean, like I said, everything about him is an upside. He can run, he can throw, he's tall, you know, he's not afraid of the moment. I do think if he did play more competition, however, he would be higher up on the board. I just hope teams actually watch the footage and don't go based off hype, because personally, I have him right behind Ewers, if not probably even lower. I mean, the talent's not far different in between. He's got stronger arm strength, but that's about it. He takes a good amount of risk, which can be a bad thing. He's a quarterback to where if he sees the moment, he's just going to throw it without second thought. So with raw power comes, you know, bad decision making. You know, that leads to picks. So I think behind the right team, he'll be perfect. If he has fast weapons and you know, they just need someone who can hit him quick. But a team that's in a full rebuild process, you know, a team that has nothing, he is not the guy I would soar after. Jalen Milroe. First of all, Roll Tide. And secondly, the last quarterback I will be talking about is Milroe. I know I probably missed on Dillon Gabriel, Riley Leonard, and a few others, but I only mention these quarterbacks just because, you know, these quarterbacks are the ones I think who have a higher potential, unlike someone like Dillon Gabriel will do. No offense, but he is only 5'10", which is really undersized for the NFL, and I don't think he'll, you know, go anything higher than a day 3. So there's no point talking about him, and Riley Leonard I think will stay another year at Notre Dame. So now let's get back on Jalen Milroe. My boy, if you've seen my Jalen Milroe video, you know I was high like a kite on Milroe. Milroe to me just screamed elite when I first saw him, but then again, that's just me being biased, you know, given I am an Alabama fan. But if I had to rank him completely unbiased, he is just behind Ewers. I think he is just behind him, but he has a way higher ceiling if you could just mentor him right. He is probably one of the more higher ceilings. Matter of fact, he's one of the only other quarterbacks here on the list I could see being taken in the first round. He has the tools any team would want their franchise quarterback. He's extremely quick. If you watch the LSU game and Georgia game, you know he is not afraid to run the ball. And he has lethal accuracy on his cannon of an arm because, I mean, he's not afraid to fire. He's a quarterback you would be very excited for. He makes exciting plays. I mean, I watch him every Saturday, but I will be the first to say, with Milroe comes a high risk, as he lacks largely in inconsistency. I mean, at least in the throwing department, which is something that can put you behind in the lead, as seen in the Tennessee game or the Vanderbilt game. He loves to run a lot. He really does, and that just might be our playbook, but he does just a lot of absolutely nothing that leads to unnecessary sacks. He tries to play hero ball way too much or just do stuff for the hell of it. He fails to sometimes read a play, he misses a receiver, or sometimes he'll just launch it for the hell of it, hoping for it to be caught, which usually results in a pick. He is incredibly tough though, I will say. He is someone who will give you his all. He's built for this position. He has shown it time to time again. He is meant to be a quarterback, and well, again, he's got just a lot of room for improvement. So depending on his system that takes him, That's the difference between if he pops off or just becomes another bench player. But for the flashes he shows and what he showcases, I think he's a very high risk, high reward type player. He's somebody I would want if Sanders or Ward is off the board and I had the choice between him and Ewers, just due to the raw talent that he has. You know, it just gives him the overall edge if you could just make Milroe pan out right. Thank you all so much for watching. Again, please do not take me serious as I just, just watch college football. I don't know what I'm talking about. I just wanted to give my personal takes on the prospects, in the quarterback class of 25. Yeah, so, I will see you all in the next random recap.